If you are joining today, I'm assuming it's because you are looking into IUL policies, and IUL is an Index Universal Life, and you are curious if it's actually something that you should own, if it's something that could be a good fit for you. So, today I want to dive a little bit more into that. If you do not follow me on YouTube, my name is Amanda Ryba. I have been a licensed financial coach and consultant for the past 8 years, and during my entire career, I have specialized in designing, structuring, and setting up correctly IUL policies for my clients. So I have seen a lot of change in the industry over the last 8 years, a lot of things. A lot of good changes, I should say, in the industry over the last 8 years. And the policies just seem to keep getting better and better. And just to kind of share with you my story, I got my very first IUL when I was 27 years old. And I just love the fact that it could grow cash value. It could be something that would allow my money to grow tax free with some flexibility, some liquidity that I don't get with the 401k. And I just love the fact that it didn't lose money, right? Those are some simple things there. So I went to my first IUL when I was 27, got my second IUL when I was 29, I believe, and used that one specifically just for cash value. So there are quite a few reasons why you might want to own an IUL. I'm going to kind of talk about the basics on them first. When it comes to whether or not you should own anything, right? Any insurance, security, investment product, you need to look at the benefits and the features of it first. And there is three main features that an IUL comes with, right? The first one is the fact that it is permanent life insurance that does not expire. The second one is the fact that you can add like long-term care living benefits to the policy, just meaning you have access to that death benefit while you are alive. Really, really handsome, exciting feature. And then, of course, there is the cash value growth that happens inside the policy that is all tax-free if accessed in the form of a loan. So I guess when it comes down to whether or not you should own one, you kind of got to look at those features and see, is there any of those features that I really want or that could be something that I want to have in my portfolio? So, for example, if you are married with kids, you own property, you are an investor, you own a business, you own assets, you do have a need for life insurance, right? So, just that feature alone, just the fact that it's permanent life insurance, you do have a need for it. However, if you don't have a need for the cash value growth, there's a lot cheaper ways to get a significant amount of life insurance besides getting it through an IUL policy, right? You could, for example, look at term insurance, much, much less expensive, no cash value component attached to it, just life insurance. So those are some things to consider. You might be the type of person that is looking for a long-term care or a living benefit plan. And I will say, I think IULs do it the best. They make that death benefit available to you for any of those functions. So maybe you are a little bit older and you're looking for those features and you like the idea that it's permanent life insurance. That right there could be a really great reason to own an IUL policy. I will be honest, when I first learned about IULs, I love that feature. Having grown up and had a sick parent and seen a lot of relatives get sick, injured, and pass away, I did see a huge need for the long-term care living benefit feature. But I mean, the other feature being just the simple fact that it grows cash value. Think about that, right? Like, what does your current financial portfolio look like today? And what are some of your goals for your money? So, if your goal is to earn interest, relatively pretty quickly to get it back out quickly, an IUL may or may not be a good fit. If your goal is more so like tax-free retirement, like you are either in your 30s or 40s and you're trying to get your ducks in a row so that you can retire in the next 20 to 25 years, well, an IUL could be a really good fit if it's set up and structured correctly. And that's something that you plan to fund over the next 20 plus years, right? I have met clients that have heard a lot about infinite or family banking, and they like the fact that you can put money into the policy and then loan it out to yourself to go and finance a project, and then you pay that loan back slowly over time. Very, very popular concept. However, if let's just say you have $200,000 sitting in your bank and you need all $200,000 in the next couple months, an IUL policy is not going to be a good fit because you don't have access to 100% of the money you put in immediately. So that's something to consider. Usually you're looking at a value of maybe 50 to 60% of what you put in is what you'll have access to in that first year. And then as the years roll on, you'll get access to more and more of that amount that you contributed. Um, So that is something that you need to consider, and also take a look at how you plan to fund it, because IULs are permanent life insurance. It's important to know that these are plans that you're supposed to have forever. They're supposed to be a long-term plan. You're never supposed to cancel them. If you want them to do what they're designed to do, you cannot ever let the policy lapse or get canceled. That alone being said, how do you plan to fund this? Like, is this something that you could see yourself just dumping in a big chunk of cash right up front and then you don't ever want to put anything else in ever again? Is this something that you could see yourself wanting to fund, consistently over time, maybe certain different amounts every single year, but it's something you could see yourself putting money into every year for a certain amount of time? Those are all things to consider. I will say the number one thing that I see is people with the expectation that they can put in a big chunk of money in the very first year and then get access to all of that right away, because it doesn't work like that. You're in a surrender period with an IUL. With any life insurance company you're dealing with, any life insurance policy, you are dealing with a surrender period, which is just an amount of years that the insurance company will not give you access to your full cash value, your full accumulated value. So I will say realistically, ideal clients are people that, if they want to use it more for infinite banking, they are able to contribute or spread out a big lump sum deposit over a period of 3 to 5 years. And they will get access to a portion of that over that 3 to 5 years. So as long as they don't need access to the full amount, you could be a good candidate for an IUL policy. Other great candidates are the people that are just looking for tax-free retirement, right? That are just starting to stash away maybe 500, 700, $1,000 a month, and they're going to do that every month until they plan to retire, and then they want to take that money out as income essentially, but it's going to be tax-free. You are a great potential candidate for an IUL policy. They're fantastic for that. You might have kids that you want to save for their future, and you maybe don't want to force them into going for college. You don't know if they would want to go to college or not, or you're not one of those types of parents that is like 100% they have to go to college. IULs are fantastic plans for parents to set up for their kids for their future, because they can use the money for anything, not just financial aid, which is how a lot of the traditional plans work for kids. So fantastic option there. And I mean, I would say the most important thing is you obviously have to be able to get approved for it, right? Because there is a permanent life insurance component to the plan that not everybody can have. The insurance companies will take a look at your age, your health history, and your background. That will determine a risk class, which is the cost of the policy. And then from there, you'll be able to see, is it too expensive? Is it not too expensive? Is it something that fits the budget? And how much can you save into it? Another thing to consider is, if you are older and your goal is cash value with an IUL, you're going to have to save double, if not triple, what you would have had to have saved in your 30s, 40s, or 50s to get the same result in your 60s, right? Or in your 50s and 60s. You have to save a lot more money into the policy. And if you don't have the financial means to do that, again, not going to be a good fit for you, just because you can't fund it the right way, right? And we do battle a cost of insurance inside the plan. So if the goal is cash value, well, it's going to take a while, and you may not have enough years for it to be funded. So depending on the amount that you're putting in, right? If you're putting in a significant amount, then you should be just fine. But again, I really do believe IUL policies are fabulous. I think that they could, for the most part, be crafted to work for just about anybody. It really just boils down to you, your goals for your money, when you need access to it. I mean, if you're the type of person that, doesn't want to lose money and wants some liquidity and ideally wants it to be tax free, again, you're a great candidate to be looking at IULs. But you have to consider other features too, right? Like, when do we need access to the money? How do we want to fund it, right? What's the plans around that? Those are all things you need to consider when diving into it. And the most important step, if you are looking to open an IUL policy, is to connect with a licensed life and health agent in your resident state or country that is non captive. And non captive just means that they can work with a bunch of different insurance companies, and they're not held to just one specific company. They can do the shopping for you and really help make sure that you have the best insurance company in front of you that's going to meet your needs and meet your goals. So if you live in the United States and you'd like to connect with me or my team, I think you know what to do. You just click the link in my bio, and that will take you directly to my calendar. It is also linked in the description below. That should take you to my calendar as well. But again, I do think that just about anybody could be a good fit, but the question is whether or not it's a good fit for you. So hopefully this video gives you some ideas. If you want to talk directly, let's connect, and feel free to share this with anyone else that you can think of that is diving into these products and these policies. And I hope to be able to provide you with more value over the coming weeks. So if you're not a follower of my channel, please do that. I release a new long form video every single week sharing with you more about how these plans work. And I look forward to seeing you all on my channel over the coming weeks. So have a great day.